Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we have some awesome new revealed information that was shared on the CoD Facebook earlier today about the recent update coming to us as V1.0.17 titled Roots of War. They have some new pictures, some new information. We got some awesome infographics that we're going to be showing off and talking about, and then I'll be giving you my opinion and thoughts as we go. So let's start it off. So we have introducing Call of Dragons update Roots of War. We got Roots of War was filled with exciting new features. We got the 30 vs 30 team battle that we talked about, the new Celestial Battlegrounds. We got some more information there. New legendary artifact, which actually shares details about that. A little sneak peek on what the event calendar looks like. So let's kind of start off here on the first picture, which is a little bit more of an update, but to be honest, nothing that really indicates anything hard for us. Let's go to the next one. New campaign gameplay. This says, and remember, this is essentially what I'm imagining is going to be our 30 vs 30, where it says your alliance will be matched against an alliance of similar power. Now, the interesting part here, as usual, is going to be what type of systems are they going to implement that will be able to mitigate any potential type of power spiking or tanking, and then being able to front load. Will they do it where they say, okay, hey, we're gonna, because again, we've seen situations where we've seen alliances in other games tank the power and just to get a more favorable, just to get a better matchup, and then they load all the players in after it's already been arranged, and then they end up just power stomping them because they have stronger players than the ones they got matched up against. So it's not really fair. So I'm wondering what type of system are they going to implement in that case? Will they basically lock the alliance in, or will they have to essentially choose their registered people so it shows you, and then only those registered people can, and then potentially any subs can come in and do that? The challenge at times can also be that if you do something like that and people can't show up and you're allotted too many subs, you could also put in 5, 10, or 15, depending on how many subs they give you. If that's the case, you could put in lower powered players and then have the subs be higher powered. The mains don't show up, and then you put in the reserves or the subs, and then now it's stronger, right? It's still factoring in. I think one of the things I liked that Infinity Kingdom did with this is they actually locked the alliance. So they said, for example, if you have to register your group by Friday, but then the alliance is locked, meaning that no one can leave the alliance or not, and then you play your match the next day, right? So it's only locked for a 24-hour period, as an example, or something like that. Again, I'll be curious to see how they approach it. I liked IK's approach to it as far as that one way of doing it, because it made it so you couldn't be flippant. However, even if you are registering and sending the player names as, hey, these are our main players, and then you have your subs that are also listed, again, right, that could also just be another way of doing it where you don't necessarily have to lock the alliance and you can just kind of leave it open and then just go off of that. So we'll see how they play that one out. Then we get to fight, which is capture buildings, deliver lifestone, gather resources, and defeat opponents to score points for yourself and your alliance. The alliance with the most points wins. So this is pretty cool. I like how they says capture buildings. Kind of has this domination style Call of Duty / King of the Hill type Halo effect, right, that we got. Deliver lifestone. This is where maybe it almost feels like a capture the flag type of thing, right? It's almost like they have multiple objectives or mini games within the fight, so that's pretty cool for me. Gather resources. Maybe that's similar. Or maybe it's deliver lifestone to the enemy gate or something like that. Again, obviously we'll have to wait for more information, but the fact that you have multiple ways to score points and it's not just super straightforward, I actually like that. It seems like they're trying to be very creative and diversify the gameplay when you're going in this type of AVA style. After the battle ends, your wounded legions are fully healed and you will receive rewards based on your personal point score. This to me is very important because they're telling you that you're not going to lose troops. In some other Kingdom Builders I've played where they've come out with these types of AVA events, you actually lose troops or you lose resources. And so I'm hoping that and again, this is just me, but I'm hoping that they're going to make it to where you can't use any of your personal resources in this, and it's just going to be straight up fights, right? Where sure, maybe they'll give you special skills or maybe in a lot of baseline resources that everyone gets that's the same. Because I think for something like this, what it really needs to come down to is who has more skill. Who's more coordinated, who's more organized, who has better tactics and better strategy. And it shouldn't just be the overwhelming factor that leads this, which is who's just stronger, right? That's really what we want to try and get to. So again, I like the fact that they're giving you that incentive for hopefully that will allow for more players to be engaged and want to participate in this because of the fact that you'll be fully healed at the end. Would love to hear your thoughts on this one. Next though, here's the map. Now, the map here is actually pretty cool because while I'm looking at this, what I'm noticing is a few important things here. I like how they have height elevation. However, if they're not going to change any range percentages to be a little bit higher when you have a height advantage, then it's really kind of a moot point, right? The only units that would really factor into this would be flying. That would have some type of advantage. However, I like how first off the map is symmetrical. And you can see here from it that there's varying levels of height increases and decreases, right? So you have kind of your main or your second floor, if you will, here. I like how they have choke points. I like how they actually have rivers and ravines where you can have flying units taking advantage of these. I mean, they've really thought of a lot when you think about it, right? If you look at the rivers, this allows for you to essentially, if you really wanted to, send flying units all the way across and kind of have a fight here in the middle while you're waiting for your other units to reinforce through the choke points. I also like how they have multiple choke points. I also like how it's not just bridge choke points, but they have a choke point here. You got the ramp choke here. You have another choke point essentially like up here, right, or down here. Again, I really like the map. And it would be cool if maybe they even do more maps or varied maps in the future. But also, let's talk about some of the elevations. You have an elevation here, right, if you're going down. It's all flat here if you're going through the middle bridge and then coming over to your opponent's spawn point, if we say, or headquarters. And then if you go back and you do the around away, you also have an elevated here in the corners, right? So I like how there just seems and appears to be a level of something that's well thought out. Right, you can even tell they have ramps here on the same side. If you go up, same direction, right? Very symmetrical and very balanced in the diversity of what I would imagine will be play styles on the map. So I don't know. This is cool to me. So I'm pretty excited. We'll have to see what happens. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one, right? Do you like the map? Do you like some of the points that I mentioned? Do you like how there seems to be a lot of play styles that we can see on the map? Or maybe no, you would have liked to see something a little bit different. Next one. This is going to be the new event, Celestial Battlegrounds, right? So someone was telling me initially that this might have been something like a Sunset Canyon type of thing in Rock, but really what this seems to me is almost kind of like you're doing COD Zombies, so to speak, where you're basically just doing some type of wave event, right? Where it says defeat 10 rounds of incoming enemies. Enemies gain buffs at the start of each round, gain extra points for clearing the stage within the time limit. Reach point tiers to unlock rewards. You also get rewards for placing highly in the ranking. So you actually get ranked against others, but it seems like it's more of a PvE event where you're doing it on your own. So it seems as though Legion, customization, really fine-tuning talent points, attaching maybe the appropriate artifacts, having good kind of unit composition depending on what you're going to run will really factor into this type of an event. And so I think from that, it will be interesting to see what they do with this and if they might do varied, I would say, I don't know if I want to say like different types of rounds. Maybe that's the best way to really say it though at the end, is where maybe one you'll do Darklings, maybe one you'll do creatures, maybe one you'll have to go and, attack forts or attack something else. I don't know. We'll see where it goes, but it seems as though there is some variety here that they can expand from. So I'm pretty excited for that. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. And then we get, I think, to the either last or second to last, which is the event calendar. This is something that, again, they have touted about from when they did the second dev column back in, I don't know if this was March or February or March sometime. But again, this is something that's nice to see. However, I would love for them to go as far out as 2 weeks. I actually would love for them to go the full month, if I'm really being honest. I would love for them to go a month out and then it just be a bigger calendar, as an example. Am I okay with a week out? 100% I'm okay with. Would I really like more of 2 weeks, but do I really want a month? 100%. But again, you got to start somewhere. And so at least being able to know what's coming up for that week is incredibly important, whether that be to your alliance planning, if you're an individual player and you're trying to figure out, okay, what resources maybe do I need to save for this upcoming event because I really want to try and get specific resources from this particular event, or maybe I want to try and maximize as many of these big events that are going to be coming up for this upcoming week because I'm really going to be able to start making a push on my account, developing a little bit more, or even which events are coming up for AVA. Where am I going to be able to really help my alliance out the most? These are things that I really love about what an event calendar can allow for players to do. It just gives you a lot more prep, so that way you can meet whatever your expectations might be going into that week for the calendar. On top of that, one little pro tip here, if you're an alliance, what I strongly recommend doing is if this is accurate, and you can see kind of them giving you a preview, if the events are announced Saturday going into Sunday's reset, right? So Sunday at 0 UTC, or it would be Saturday 23:59 going into 0 for Sunday, and you see this calendar, something that I would recommend alliances doing is look at what's coming up for that week and organize an alliance mail that you can send out to all your players, so that way they can know, and you just give like a little 1-line or 2-line tips and tricks, right, or advice on what the events are that are coming up, what you can maybe get from them, and maybe some best practices or tips on how to maximize them. Okay. Next one is we have the new artifact. This is Goldcrest. Now remember, we didn't get any information in the patch notes that were released. However, what we now know from this is we do know it's marksman PvP control, and we get some information here on the active and the passive stats. So we have deals damage to selective unit, Legion. Artifact skill damage is physical on this one, 2800. Grants your Legion haste. March speed increases by 15% duration. It lasts for 10 seconds. This, to me, seems like a really good artifact to apply to an archer, right? Or a physical DPS for your... Well, I guess it is archers, technically. But obviously they have different names for each faction. But then we get into the passive stats. Skill deals additional damage when Freygar is in your Legion, right? So interesting how they're trying to attach artifacts to specific heroes. I don't really know how I necessarily feel about this. They did this in Infinity Kingdom after they came out with their initial bunch of artifacts. And then, or I don't know if they were called artifacts, but they eventually, their equipment, if you will, and they later on started making specific equipment that was exclusive to specific champions, right, or characters, hero characters, or immortals, as I would say, as they're called in there. And so I just don't know how good I feel about them attaching specific. Now, it would have been different if they would have said, okay, if you're an archer, right, if you're an archer hero, or if you attach a mage hero, or if you attach an infantry hero. That, to me, I think I'm more okay with than something like this being exclusive to a particular hero, especially if those heroes are pay to win or if they're gated by some means. And I'm speaking generally here. So that's something that I hope this doesn't turn into. I would be okay with them saying, right, saying, okay, well, if you have this specific hero in this role, that is attached to it, because usually you'll have a nice healthy mix of free to play and gated or pay to win type heroes. So again, that would be my expectation and hope going forward, because again, this kind of rubs me the wrong way. However, I'd love to hear what you guys think on it, because that's just my thought. And then last, I think this is the very last one, which is the war pets. Now, it says Tamara's mostly mysterious inhabitants will soon be revealed. Now, we don't know, obviously, anything about war pets. This is basically as mysterious as it was in the patch notes. But I'm curious if it means that you'll be able to attach a war pet per legion, or if you'll only be able to maybe summon a war pet or bring a war pet out with you in the march that will maybe last for a period of time, and it'll almost kind of be a mini version of what a behemoth is, right? Like the behemoth's babies, or kids, if you will. So, again, I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys think, right? What do you think the war pets are going to be like? Let me know in the comments down below. That is actually going to do it for me on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's going to be coming out in this new update, especially once we can actually get our hands on what the in-game tangibles are there. So that's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.